What's up, SnEaKyNation? SnEaKy P here, back with all the news after week number 1 here in our San Francisco 49ers franchise, where the Niners lost a heartbreaker in overtime to our division rival, the Los Angeles Rams. Next up, we have a very good Carolina Panthers team, the defending NFC champs. It is going to be a tough matchup, but before we get into that, let's go ahead, check out some of the highlights from week number 1, and it did not start off well. Quentin Patton fumbling on the very first drive, and LaMarcus Joyner is going to take this one to the house. The Rams would go up 10-0 early on, but finally the 49ers offense would get things going. Blaine Gabbert finding Vance McDonald in the end zone for a touchdown there. The Niners also getting some running game out of Blaine Gabbert, telling Kaepernick, anything you can do, I can do better. 3 carries, 69 yards on the day, and we needed it because Carlos Hyde was struggling running it against this great Los Angeles Rams defensive line. However, we did get some plays from him anyway, as you can see here, rolling to the left, throwing it right. There is Carlos Hyde making a play, breaking a tackle, and getting out of the bounds. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be enough, and the Rams would get the ball back here, trying to make something happen before halftime. As you see, Goff trying to roll out this time, getting chased, and Aaron Lynch would get there. Only sack of the day for the 49ers defense. However, what they lacked in pass rush, they made up for in their run defense. Really doing a great job against Todd Gurley, who struggled to run the ball against his team. And there you have it, Jared Goff's first career NFL touchdown pass, finding Riley Cooper as Trey Mason ran that one into the end zone. The Rams would end up going up 24-10, as you see an interception there. Not some great throws by Gabbert. Unfortunately, they were just really great plays by the defensive backs in this situation, and then the pressure getting to Gabbert there. However, in the fourth quarter, when the game was on the line, Vance McDonald into the end zone, making it a 1-possession game, and then Chris Owusu under 30 seconds to go to send this one into overtime. However, that is where the good vibes would end for the 49ers. Todd Gurley running it all the way out there, and then they are going to find the rookie Tyler Higbee out of Western Kentucky into the end zone, and that would do it. 30-24 is going to be the score. The Niners fall to 0-1, going up against the 0-1 Carolina Panthers. Again, though, this is the NFC champs right now. They are a very good team. They just happen to be going up against the Super Bowl champs and couldn't get it done on the road in Denver. We are definitely going to have to game plan for them. And, you know, they have one of the best defenses in the NFL. We kind of need some safety points. So what we're going to work on today is our play action rollout. This is something Gabbert actually does fairly well within our offense. We need to be conservative. You know, we don't have one of the best quarterbacks. We don't have some of the best wide receivers. We need to get our running game going. And if that's not working, we need to start working on some play actions at the very least and try to make stuff happen here. Obviously, our running game going would definitely help the play action, but overall it's definitely going to be a tough matchup for us against this Panthers defense. As you see, we're going to get the tight ends involved early and potentially often against this Panthers defense here. Those throws down the field not as accurate as we would like to see them, and we knew that going in, that it was going to be tough to throw the ball against this Panthers defense. So it's going to be interesting. We're looking okay in practice. Let's see if Gabbert can earn this team's a gold medal here, and that is almost intercepted. Not going to happen that time. Going for the gold here. We're 4 of 5 at the moment. Looking down the field, and Curley has the catch. It's all coming down to this play. We need the first down, and Vance McDonald would deliver. That is going to be it for the practice today. We had already gotten the gold medal for our defense. So next up, let's go ahead and check out all of the news throughout the NFL. All right, we are back, but before we get into the news, let's go ahead and answer 3 questions from the press this week. If you guys would like to have your questions answered, go ahead, address it to the press, leave it in the comments of news videos, and I will try to get to as many as I can in a future video. First up, NYG88. It's quite obvious the Niners are no longer an elite team. What is the 5-year plan here? Right now, we are going to focus on defense. We would like to establish one of the best defenses in the NFL, a defense a team can fear. You know, we feel pretty comfortable with our running game at the moment. Carlos Hyde needs to be healthy this season, but if he can prove to be healthy, we have a lot of youth along the offensive line. We feel like we can win that battle in some games, and if we can establish a dominant defense moving forward, I think we are going to win a lot of football games. R. Finch is asking, how long do you think it'll be until this team is a playoff team? We have a lot of holes to fill right now. We have a lot of youth and a lot of talent. The thing is, it's tough to predict because you don't know what's going to happen around the NFL. We don't know what's going to happen with the Cardinals, with the Seahawks, or even the Rams who just beat us. But we do feel very comfortable in a lot of the young players that we have. You know, we have a lot of youth on the defensive side of the ball, and we feel like we could eventually have a dominant defense. That is certainly going to be our goal. It just kind of depends on how the draft shakes out, who we end up selecting, if that person can step in immediately, or maybe they're going to be a bit of a project. It's tough to say, but at the very least, we have to be in the playoffs within the next 3 years. That's definitely going to be like, you know, worst case scenario for us. We'll just have to see how things unfold, though. And the last question is Mr. Clutch 123X. Is there anyone you are looking to trade away? Right now, we are comfortable with our team. We have made it known to certain teams that we might have players that we are willing to move, but that's not because we have any less faith in them. It's just we are kind of set at that position. We're not out exploring trades for anybody. If a team calls us, we're definitely going to have to listen. But otherwise, I think we're pretty set with the roster that we have right now and as we move forward with the rest of the season. That is going to be it for the press conferences, but let's go ahead and jump into the news going on around the league. DeMarco Pema was a rugby player just a few weeks ago, but his strength and endurance translates well to football, as you can see, wearing number 54, so the next Jared Hayne, but maybe a defender. In our games this week, the Broncos beat the Panthers 38-34. This is an important game for us as we are going up against this very Panthers team. Next, Cam Newton, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception for him. Not a lot of yards on the ground for their running game, though. However, both Jonathan Stewart and Cameron Artis-Payne were factors out of the backfield. 5 catches for Stewart, 4 for Payne. This is definitely something the Niners defense is going to have to focus on, as well as Kelvin Benjamin, 6'5", just a huge red zone threat there. Somebody to keep an eye on. Luke Kuechly had 6 tackles in this game. Not an outstanding game from him. However, the Panthers defense got 5 sacks on the day, and that is something the Niners are definitely going to have to worry about. We did a pretty good job preventing the Rams from sacking us last week, but anything could happen against the Panthers. Packers winning 23-21 over the Jags. A much closer game than you would anticipate, and Blake Bortles actually outgunning Aaron Rodgers in this game. Eddie Lacy, a monster game, 104 yards for him. He did carry it 26 times, so also got 2 touchdowns. Jordy Nelson returning from injury, 8 catches, 102 yards for him. Julius Thomas getting a touchdown in this game. Defensively, Clinton Dix leading the way in tackles. Bradford, who we saw in the preseason, got a sack, as well as Dante Fowler Jr. Welcome to the NFL, so returning from injury there. 34-28, the Bills are going to beat the Ravens here in a shootout, or somewhat of a shootout anyway. Tyrod Taylor, though, 282 yards, 4 touchdowns for him. Joe Flacco, 272, 2 touchdowns on the day for him. Running the ball, though, it was Shady McCoy, 5.4 yards a carry, 75 yards. Reggie Bush getting a lot of carries as well, only 3.5 yards a carry for him. Then James Jones, the recent Buffalo Bills signee, 9 catches, 98 yards for him. Steve Smith Sr. going over 100 yards. Sammy Watkins getting in on a touchdown as well. Defensively, CJ Mosley leading the way, 14 tackles. Preston Brown, 12 sacks. We've got a lot of them. The Ravens defense doing a good job getting pressure on Tyrod Taylor, but not good enough as he had an outstanding day. No interceptions on the day. The Bears 28-25 over the Texans here, and this is actually going to be Brian Hoyer leading the way, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions for him. Cutler is currently injured. Osweiler not doing a great job with this new team. Lamar Miller did show up, though, 5.4 yards a carry for the other Texan signee. Wilson, though, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. Hopkins did go for 96 yards as well, and then Paulson getting a touchdown down there. Clowney leading the way with 10 tackles in this game. Sacks, we have 1 for McPhee, Goldman, Bullard, and then Watt and Wilfork each going to team up for 1 as well. Interceptions on the day, Callahan and Amos making it happen. The Browns 38-17 over the Philadelphia Eagles. What happened here? And Robert Griffin, 246, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He actually went down on the play. McNown came in, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And then Carson Wentz, the first round pick, struggling. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the day. Matthews had a touchdown on the ground. Duke Johnson Jr. had 2 on the ground. Zach Ertz 91 yards. Matthews 83. Pryor, though, 3 catches, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns for him, a long of 92 on the day. Defensively, Hicks leading the way in tackles there. Sacks, we have 3 for Connor Barwin, a monster game from him. Interceptions, let's check it out. We have 1 for Rambo, McKelvin Jenkins, and Joe Hayden getting an interception as well. Next up, the Bucks 38-10 over the Atlanta Falcons, and what is somewhat of a low passing game for 2 great quarterbacks here, at least 2 above average quarterbacks, neither getting over 200 yards. Matt Ryan only 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions on the day. Doug Martin and Hillman having a great day on the ground for the Bucks. Mike Evans, 6 catches, 73 yards for him. Safarian Jenkins getting 2 touchdowns. Freeman getting 1 touchdown there. Defensively, Warlow leading the way. Sacks, we have Goldson and Mincy each with 2, McDonald, Claiborne, Ayers Jr., and McCoy all with 1, and then Warlow and Jackson each getting a half a sack there. Interceptions, Allen, Conte, David, and McDougald going to make the plays there. The Vikings winning 27-24 over the Tennessee Titans here, and this is Bradford's debut with his new team. And 279 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions for him. Matt Castle, 230, filling in for the injured Marcus Mariota. He did a good job protecting the ball, no interceptions on the day. Adrian Peterson, 19 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Matt Asiata and Antonio Andrews also finding their way into the end zone there. Kyle Rudolph, 7 catches, 73 yards. Wright, though, 111 yards for him. And then the rookie Sharp out of Massachusetts finding his way into the end zone. The Titans are excited about him. Sacks, Griffin, and Klug with 2. Floyd, Barr, Robinson all with 1, and then Arakpo and Woods teaming up for 1 as well there. The Jets crushing the Bengals 45-7 in a blowout victory, the biggest win of the week. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Andy Dalton, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Powell having an incredible day on the ground, 137 yards and 2 touchdowns for him. And then Devin Smith, 6 catches, 122, and a touchdown for the second-year pro out of Ohio State. Tammy, the new acquisition, also getting involved for the Jets there. Jordan Jenkins, the rookie out of Georgia, with 1.5 sacks. And then all of the Suns, Wilkerson, Henderson, Richardson, all getting a sack as well. Interceptions, don't throw it to Revis Island. Darrell Revis with 2 there. And then the Saints beating the Raiders 38-31 in a shootout led by Drew Brees, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Derek Carr struggling, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the day. However, he got help from the rookie Washington and Latavius Murray, each getting 2 touchdowns on the ground. CJ Spiller also finding his way in there. Amari Cooper, 113 yards for him. Brandon Coleman, Cooks, and we are going to get a touchdown from Latavius Murray as well on the day. Defensively, easily leading the way in tackles, Connor number 2. Sacks, we only have 1, and that is going to be Ellerby on the day. Laurinaitis and DJ Moore, the recent signee there, going to make the play. 34-24, the Chargers beating the Chiefs in a week 1 matchup of division opponents here. Phillip Rivers, 316 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Alex Smith, 281, 2 and 1 interception. Jamal Charles, 4.7 yards a carry, 66 yards for him. Danny Woodhead and West each finding their way into the end zone for this game. Keenan Allen, 5 catches, 78 yards for him. Travis Benjamin, the new pickup there, only 33 yards. He did get open quite a few times, though, as we see there. And then quite a few touchdowns, including Andre Williams out of the backfield. Barrington leading the way in tackles here. Sacks, we only have 1, and that is Alan Bailey. Interceptions, Manti Te'o making it happen. 27-10 in a huge upset. The Miami Dolphins are going to go to Seattle and pick up a victory. Unbelievable showing here. Neither quarterback really doing much. However, the difference being Russell Wilson throwing 2 interceptions on the day. Matt Moore came in on a fake and threw a touchdown. Rawls only 42 yards on the ground, not doing a great job. Russell Wilson did get 36 yards on 8 carries there. Tyler Lockett, 6 catches, 38 yards. And again, just not a lot of plays being made down the field in this game defensively. KJ Wright leading the way. Bennett number 2 there with 6 tackles for a loss. Cameron Wake with 2 sacks. Mitchell with 1 interceptions. Chris Culliver and Abdul Kudus here. I believe that's how you say it. I could be wrong. This is going to be 23-13. The Lions beating the Colts. Matthew Stafford going to outgun Andrew Luck, who went down with an injury. We'll have to check in on that later. But the Lions going to get a good win here. And then you see the fake with Orlovsky there. Theo Riddick, 72 yards on the ground for him. Frank Gore finding his way into the end zone as well. Golden Tate, 7 catches, 116 yards. Anquan Bolden finding a touchdown for his new team, as well as Andrew Corliss here. Defensively, DeQuell Jackson, 16 tackles on the day for Jackson there. Sacks, we have a few here. Spence, Cole, and Nada each getting one. A few players splitting one as well. And then interceptions, we are going to have 2. Darius Slade Jr. and Vontae Davis making the plays there. The Giants winning 35-34 over the Dallas Cowboys here. And another battle of division teams. Tony Romo, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Eli Manning, 343 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Shane Vereen with 63 yards and then 3.3 yards to carry there. Sterling Shepard, the rookie wide receiver from Oklahoma, 9 catches, 138 yards, and a touchdown. Victor Cruz returning from injury, also going to get 2 touchdowns there. And Bryce Butler making it happen for the Cowboys. McLean, 10 tackles, sacks on the day. 1 for Thornton, 1 for Bromley here. And then a whole bunch of players going to be splitting up with a half a sack. Let's go ahead and check out the interceptions. And that's going to go to Orlando Scandrick and Barry Church making plays. The Cardinals getting crushed by the Patriots. 38-0, only 141 total yards gained. Look at Carson Palmer only throwing for 87 yards. What happened in this game? Tom Brady doesn't care about suspensions. He's going to play anyway. 312 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions for him. But I think this game is all about the Patriots defense not letting the Cardinals do anything at all. 3 touchdowns for Julian Edelman on the day, including a 75-yarder. And then, of course, Gronk is going to find his way into the end zone as well. Defensively, Buchanan, 11 tackles here. Sacks, let's check it out. Chandler Jones getting 1.5 sacks, but maybe deeply regretting his decision to leave the Patriots for the Cardinals right about now, as Patrick Chung got an interception. And then 52-24, the Steelers crushing the Washington Redskins here. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception for Roethlisberger. Kirk Cousins, 1 touchdown to go with 3 interceptions. Le'Veon Bell having a monster day, 123 yards, 4 touchdowns for him. Charles Sims, acquired in a trade, is going to have a touchdown for the Redskins there. And then Deshaun Jackson, 7 catches for 72 yards, 7 catches, 77 yards for Antonio Brown. And the best running back in the NFL and the best wide receiver in the NFL teaming up for 6 total touchdowns in this game, making work of this Redskins defense. As you see a few players getting in on sacks there. Interceptions, Colvin Gilbert going to have one. Josh Norman with his new team, and then Mike Mitchell. The players of the week, Cam Newton, and then LaMarcus Joyner against us, Bakari Rambo and Le'Veon Bell. Joyner just killed us. 13 tackles, an interception, a fumble forced, fumble recovered into touchdown. And then we're going up against Cam Newton, the reigning MVP, off to a great start already with those 3 touchdowns. Looking at the injured players, Robert Griffin out for 7 weeks there. Jay Cutler only out for 2 more weeks with a shoulder tear. He should return soon. And then looking at the Colts, Andrew Luck out for 4 more weeks with the shoulder tear. Seems to be a pretty common injury going around the NFL currently. Looking at the Panthers injury report, not missing a whole lot, but they are missing a good left guard as well as their safety. Let's go ahead and take a look at their lineup. Cam Newton, the reigning MVP, 95 overall, just coming off a NFC Offensive Player of the Week, despite the fact that his team lost. Jonathan Stewart and Cameron Artis-Payne going to be the running backs here at fullback. Mike Tolbert, wide receiver. They have Kelvin Benjamin, Ted Ginn Jr., Philly Brown, and then the young receiver Funches to go with veteran North Carolina guy Hakeem Nicks at tight end. One of the best in the game, Greg Olsen, still making it happen. This offensive line, maybe not the best offensive line in the NFL, but they do have some guys that have been very reliable for Cam Newton throughout his tenure there. The left side dealing with an injury. Outside of that, they're actually pretty solid. Right tackle, they could use some help. Defensive line, Charles Johnson, and then Ely teaming up. We saw him get 2 sacks. Kawan Short and Latulele going to be the defensive tackles here. Left outside linebacker, recently acquired Shaquille Barrett in the trade from the Broncos. Then the captain, Luke Kuechly, arguably one of the best defenders in the NFL, if not the best. Ben Wickery going to be there. They are missing rookie James Bradbury down there with an injury, but Wardley stepped up and got an interception for this team. Trey Boston going to be at free safety, and then Marlowe going to fill in at strong safety for the injured Kurt Coleman here. So that's going to be it for the Panthers lineup, guys. Thank you so much for watching this news video. I really do hope y'all enjoy this new style. If you do, please hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. Thank you so much for all the support throughout this series. It has been outstanding, and I will see you guys in week 2 as the 49ers take on the Panthers. Later, guys.